Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for National Distance Learning Week with SUNY Online. If you are still here from the first session, we're glad that you stuck around, and thank you to those of us who are just joining. I'm Erin Maney, and I manage our communications and community engagement activities at SUNY Online. I'll be your moderator this afternoon. Just a couple housekeeping items. We ask that you keep your mics muted as the session is being recorded. We will have time for Q&A at the end, but you can also type questions in the chat, and I'll monitor that chat to make sure that those get asked or answered. We'd also love for you to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And today I'm thrilled to introduce our speaker, Loy Gross. Loy is an online learning specialist at SUNY Genesee Community College, where she supports online learners via the SUNY concierge model of proactive outreach, connecting students to the campus community. She has experience teaching and supporting a wide variety of learners from homeschool through adult continuing students, and is a firm believer in the power of the personal journey. So Loy, I'm thrilled that you could join us and share this course with us. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can share yours.
Okay, thank you. All right, can you all see my screen there?
Yes, looks great, thank you.
Okay, I've just lost the chat, so now I have to bring that back up again. All right, so I want to talk to you today about our new initiative from this spring, the GCC Student Success course. It's really not a new initiative, but something that we completely changed in light of Brightspace coming up. As I said, I'm Loy Gross. I support students here in the concierge model, so I take questions, resolve student issues, and among the things that I'm tasked with is providing students with an orientation on online learning, what it means to be an online student, and also on our LMS system. And we call that our success course for students. Before I go too much further, I do want to give credit where credit is due. I'm able to do the things that you're going to see in the presentation today because my predecessors, Serena Cook and Craig Lamb, and some of the other folks in the office, Judy Littlejohn and Dan Barancata, all put together a great source that I could use, that I could stand on their shoulders and basically create something new and different. And I also wanted to talk to you about format. We do have some folks monitoring the chat to ask questions. My presentation itself is going to be very, very short, about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll dive into a tour of the course. And I'm really interested in hearing what parts of the course you would like to look at, and I'll walk you through any sections that you're interested in. The course is not a credit course. That is not a credit course, Lois. So that's one of the things that happens here. So first, let's talk about the history of this kind of course. Our accreditation needs say that we have to provide students with an online orientation, and we have to provide them with LMS or software training. And if you look at the former course, and quite frankly, many colleges in the SUNY system, you'll see that their courses are outlined in this way. So there'll be a section in how to be a good online student, and there'll be a different section in how to use Blackboard or Moodle or in this case, Brightspace. And many colleges also throw in some of their academic resources, and if they have one, a virtual community, but that's the basic outline of the course. And that is in fact where our course started. But some of the issues that we have with that, one of them is student engagement. So our success course, or our online orientation, is completely optional. Okay, we do not make students do this. How do we get students to do this? How do we entice them? How do we make the carrot big enough? And one of our other challenges is determining necessary versus, oh, you are seeing the course itself. How about that? Better?
Oh, perfect. There it is.
Okay. All right. My apologies. So one of our other challenges is determining necessary versus helpful content. So we have a variety of students who come to us for online learning, and I'm sure you do too. We have that student who's working a full-time job and raising a family and trying to take online courses, and they just need to get the information that they need to be successful as a student very quickly as possible, get in, get out, get on with their day. We have the students who are brand new to taking online courses. Maybe they're lost in the process and they need to be held by the hand walked through the entire thing. And then we have so-called digital natives. And I have to be honest with you, I don't like that term. For today's purposes, I'm using digital natives. Digital natives as students who are comfortable enough with online technology that they're ready to jump in and learn something new without a lot of guidance. And so we have that sort of student. And how do we appeal to all these kinds of students with our orientation? So here's what we started thinking. We came up with this idea. What if we embedded all of the boring but necessary content inside the helpful content? So we'll make this not a course in, first of all, how to be an online student, and second of all, how to use the LMS, but we'll use the LMS as a vehicle for teaching students how to be a good online student. So we mix it up and we integrate the LMS training with the basic orientation, and we embed the college resources in with online student best practices, and we throw the students directly into the virtual community as part of the orientation content. What happens if we do those things? And how does that impact our students? Well, one of the things that we started to worry about a little bit was the different kinds of students that we have. The busy student might not have time to go through a full, long process of getting deep into all of the tools that we have available. And so if we mix it up this way, we have that problem that we've added to our mix. So let's talk about how we mapped out this course. Okay, and here's the big drawing. And before I go any further, I want to stop and say, I am not expecting you to be able to read that type. I know it's very small. This is the map that we came up with to finalize our course. Over here on the left, and I'll blow that up so we can read it a little bit. Here are our 5 basic course objectives. We're going to strengthen their academic habits. We're going to teach them to communicate professionally. We're going to teach them to navigate Brightspace. We're going to have them demonstrate the ability to locate college resources. And we're going to have them develop connections to peer groups online. Those are our 5 big course objectives that we want out of the success course. And we took all that and we divvied it up into sections. So we've got a 30-minute orientation, and the 30-minute orientation is a brief overview. You'll notice from our diagram here, it covers pretty much everything, but it doesn't go too deep. Then we have our bigger section, which is our mini course experience. Our mini course experience is 3 units, units 1, 2, and 3, and each unit isn't expected to take a student about 45 minutes. And I want you to see how interconnected all of these things are. So, for example, one of the objectives of our course, navigating Brightspace, we've got some elements of that in our orientation, and then we've got cross-references across all of our other units. So, for example, we don't teach the students to use the discussion board by saying, okay, this is a discussion board. We teach the students to use the discussion board by saying, okay, it's time to introduce yourself to your fellow students. Let's talk about how we do that. Oh, it's a discussion board. And so many things are cross-referenced in our course. We also have, and I'm not going to go very deep into it right now, but we also have an FAQ, or frequently asked questions section. And our frequently asked questions, that handles our digital natives, those folks that have a fair idea of how to get into software, how to get in there and use it and figure things out. And they just every now and again get hung up on a particular question. They can jump straight into our FAQ, get the answer they want, get back in and get back out. So let's look at what each of these elements are. Our 30-minute Brightspace student orientation covers all of our major topics. It's all of our major expectations out of this course. But you notice we're pretty low down on Bloom's taxonomy. We're not going deep in any of these topics. It's name, explain, understand, locate, just so that the students have sort of a broad brush exposure to these ideas. Then when we go back and we look at the mini course experience, we have our 3 deeper dive units. Unit 1, planning, we're literally walking the student by the hand. Here's how you get to the online bookstore. Here's how you find your online ebook. Here's how you get the ebook. Here's what you do with the course syllabus. And we're having students learn Brightspace and learn our LMS tools and learn about the resources that we have on campus, such as the bookstore, as part of planning to become an online student, planning to be part of this course. In Unit 2, we talk about learning in the course. And we teach the students learning strategies. We talk about time management, developing their own personal study plan. And we use those as a vehicle to teach students how to download files, how to follow directions, how to take a quiz. In our section 3, we talk about persisting in the course when that course becomes difficult or tedious mid-semester. We talk about goal-driven motivation. We teach the students how to download an assignment, how to write an assignment in the word processor of their choice, how to upload it again, and we give them feedback on that. The purpose of that, ostensibly, is to teach them how to upload an assignment in Brightspace. If I get a readable file, I know they know how to do that. So what do I have them do for that assignment? What are the contents of that readable file? Well, we're having them write their academic goals. So we're having students learn what a SMART goal is. It's measurable, it's specific, it's attainable, having them write out their goals, clarify their own thinking, and create their own document that can be used to help motivate them later. And then I'm also giving them some feedback on that. So we get to give the students a little bit of feedback. Hey, that's a great goal you got there. You know, here are some courses that might help you. We take the students' words, we take the students' assignment they've written for us, and we can literally copy and paste it into the student's record so that our tutors, our success coaches, our advisors, our counselors, and anyone else on campus that interacts with that student has access to that student's own stated description of what it is that they want to accomplish while they're here and they're a student at our college. And in the whole process, we teach them how to submit an assignment in Brightspace. So that's the overall structure of the course. It's complicated, but ultimately it contextualizes the experience for the student. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't learn to do a thing by saying, okay, we're going to do the thing. So I don't learn to use a hammer by saying, okay, here's a nail, we're going to learn how to hit it. I learn to use a hammer by building a doghouse or by building something else. And so by putting all of these ideas or all of these concepts or all these learning strategies in front of the student while we're teaching them to use Brightspace, we're contextualizing Brightspace for them so that they get a better sense of how to use it and the knowledge sticks better. Okay. So what were our results? Who other than students has access to the course is a good question. We have faculty all have access to the course. Our advisors, our student success coaches, our tutors. We have some various different kinds of counselors and academic advisors that are not called academic advisors. They all have access to the course. Pretty much anyone on campus who is student facing has access to this course. It's a good question. So let's talk about the results. Now we just started this at the summer semester, so we don't have enough data for a long-term assessment, but we do have some initial results, and the initial results are largely encouraging. So first of all, engagement doubled. Okay, our prior course in Blackboard had about an 8% completion rate. In the summer, when we introduced this course, it bumped up to 19%. Some of that may have had something to do with the fact that we were switching to Brightspace. But in the fall, we're still at 17% among our students, our online students. And so it's more than doubled the engagement. Students are actively completing the course. That's always a win. we have a plus 7% completion rate. So students who engaged with the success course and completed the success course were 7% more likely to have successful on-time completion of their other online courses. What do we mean by successful on-time completion? We mean they passed the course with a C- or better, and they did so without an IP. So our students who did this course were also more successful in the courses they were taking simultaneously. Generally speaking, GPA went up by about 0.5. Students completed the success course on average, earned higher grades in their other online courses. Most of them got a letter grade bump. That's a pretty good thing. And finally, and this was a really interesting piece of data that came out of our research department, credit to our institutional research department on that. Students who completed the success course were more likely to get a grade of F than a grade of W by 2%. And W means they withdrew from the course. Now we're talking to some of these students, starting to have conversations with some of these students and find out where this number may have come from. Initially, I thought, well, this is not a good number. We need to dig into this. And the more I talk to students and the more I talk to some folks on campus, we're taking this one as a win too. And the reason is that a student who received a grade of F remained engaged with the college and with the course all the way through the end. Students who withdrew might have withdrawn in the first week, midterm, somewhere along the way. They dropped off the map. They disappeared from the course and ceased to engage with the course. So maybe they earned a grade of F, but they stuck around and they earned it. One of the things that we will be digging into with IR in future semesters is to see if those students, those same students right here who completed success course and were more likely to get a grade of F, did they re-enroll in the following semester? Did they repeat the course? And that'll be an interesting number that might help with our theory. Okay, so that's the information I have about the course. And the last thing I wanted to do was give you a little bit of a tour. So you should be able to see my screen now of the college. And our success course for students generally pops up as one of the first courses that students will see. We have, by the way, a little video. That video walks the student from our portal to getting into this course. So we can assume once they get in here that they don't know how to navigate anything. If they scroll down, they see the lovely Start Here. And when I jump into Start Here, congratulations on taking the next step. To begin, click on Welcome from the list below. So we're literally giving them step-by-step instructions of how to get in here. When I get into Welcome to the Success course, it's not just a welcome to the success course. I teach them how to navigate to the next page. We're assuming that students have stumbled their way in here and really don't know where to go. Here's how you navigate, basic page navigation. Here's how to find our help desk if you need help. And then we can start talking a little bit more about navigation. Oh, here's our course navigation. Every time we include a video, we also include key points from the video for those students who don't like to read it. So we just give them the key features from the video, some different activities. Students can jump around and learn how to navigate Brightspace. I'm going to run back to my table of contents back here. When you're looking at the visual table of contents, if you were here last hour, Dan talked about these progress bars and how you can see how many topics you have or have not touched on. And the students enjoy that because they can kind of go through one of our qualitative feedbacks on this particular course that I particularly liked. The student said that he loves the bars here and he loves the awards that he can earn. He said it tickles his gamer heart. I thought that was a good way to describe it and explain it. But as students go through, there's the Start Here, basically how does the course operate? There is a unit on accessibility right away. In case a student is having issues with accessibility, we get that taken care of right away before they go to the next part. Here is our 30-minute student orientation. And in 30 minutes, you'll meet our staff. We will blow apart some of the myths about online learning. We'll talk about what it means to be a student, how you might try to learn, what you can expect in class, how to find your grades and do your homework, how to get support from the local college. So very, very high level, I should say low level stuff, but a brief introduction to everything you'll need to know. And then in the mini course experience, you get a much deeper dive. In the mini course experience, we have a whole overview, meet your instructors. We have a syllabus. It's a non-credit course. It doesn't need a syllabus, but we have one because we're going to teach the students how to use that syllabus as a tool to create a personalized learning plan. We're going to include all the grading policies and warnings. All of these features that are in this introductory section here are identical to the features that a student will see when they get into their regular course. So it's using the course to teach how a course works. And then, of course, we have our big units, our planning unit, our key habits unit, and our persistence unit. And that's an overview of the course. And I think I'm on track here, about 20 minutes. So what I wanted to hear is what you would like to see from this course. What would you like me to show you?
I just want to jump in, Lloyd, to remind participants that you are more than welcome to unmute yourself if you would like to talk, or you can, of course, type in anything in the chat. So if you were a student or if you're just a curious participant, what is something that you'd like to see in this course?
I'd like persistence.
Oh, this is Lois. I'd like to see the course schedule, like, I have a course schedule in my course that I teach. So, but that kind of got overshadowed by the course, the calendar that comes with Brightspace that I think the students are trying to use, but I didn't use. And I showed them, where to get the course schedule, but it's another step. And when I teach this again, it has to be improved. So how would I improve that to get that course? It used to be in Moodle, the blue course schedule link was in every assignment. So you could always look it up, what the dates were and what the expectations were. But those blue links are still there, but they have to take a couple of steps to get there. And I need to fix that. Can you help?
Okay. I will do my best. Okay, so the course schedule link is always over here on the left-hand side when you're looking at the table of contents view. And the table of contents view is the most common view that students will have of Brightspace at any given point in time. And this course schedule is linked to the assignment and grade deadline dates and the calendar. So in this particular course, we don't have deadlines. We don't have due dates. And the reason we don't have due dates is we do have students who will complete this course a little bit at a time as they're going through the semester. So they'll do that 30-minute orientation in the first week. And then throughout the semester, they'll come back and they'll keep reading. And those students have indicated to us that even, mid-semester and later, they are still learning new things about how they learn and about how they can be successful as college students. And it's very beneficial to them. So we're not putting due dates on anything. The due dates that tend to be in here, or the calendar dates that tend to be in here, I will put in all of the add drop dates, the withdraw dates, holidays, virtual information sessions. Those are the kinds of things that I put in here. And so those are all in the calendar and also in this course schedule link. Now, the other thing that you might be looking at is the syllabus. If we look at the syllabus, and we make it bigger, thank you. Okay. If we look for the syllabus for our course, when we get down to the bottom, we do have a course schedule in there. And again, we don't have due dates on those. We just have, here's the modules, here's what you should be expected to do. That is another place that you can put in your dates. But your dates are going to be, let me think about this. I'm looking at this as a student. If I go back and I get the course schedule, let me go back to the visual table of contents, because here's the calendar. When you put dated assignments into your course, dated assignments and dated quizzes into the course, they do show up here on the calendar. Does that answer your question?
Well, yes, but I was afraid to put the dates in because what I learned in the one before, and somebody had said, I'm at Empire State College. So, you know, we've been doing Moodle for years, and the switchover has really caused, you know, these problems of something that somebody's been doing for years and then a new way. So they said, don't put dates in there. But again, that did not help my students at all, because they had to go to the syllabus to get down to the course schedule. So I needed to try to get that course schedule right in more easily. So I guess what you're saying is if I put the dates in, then at least the start dates, if I don't put an end date, because I don't want to close them out, because some of them have to go back and complete something, you know, and if I put an end date, they can't go in. So I was afraid to do that, but I think I have a better understanding now. But can I copy and paste the course schedule, my course schedule, and edit it into Brightspace, like with each of the assignments, like it used to be? I'm not sure I have that permission.
You cannot copy and paste a whole list of dates and deadlines into the calendar.
No, it would just be the link, that blue link.
Yes. That's one thing I'm going to have to agree with reaching out to the instructional designer on your campus and taking a look at that. One of the things that I'm learning about Brightspace is, as an instructor at least, there are a number of ways to do things, okay? And this calendar here, for example, just the calendar, okay? If you put in, you've got due dates, you've got start dates, due dates, and end dates, all on your assignments, quizzes, gradable activities. And those have different impacts on the calendar. On top of that, you can enter just events in the calendar. And that's how I put in all of these last day to withdraw. So you can put events in the calendar, and then those are not connected to your gradable activities. And sometimes that's what you want, and sometimes that's definitely not what you want. So I'm going to have to agree with reaching out to your instructional designer on campus to look at the specific tasks that you want to do with your course schedule and what would be the best way to go about doing that. I think so. All right. I see Andrea had asked about the persistence module. So let's go to Unit 3, Motivation and Persistence. This is the unit where we talk about that goal-driven motivation and the assignment of one of your academic goals. I will say that this module is currently under review. We're doing a bit of changing because as I was making this module, I apparently fell into the same trap of listing all of the things that we have available here at our college rather than contextualizing them. So one of the things that's going to happen is we're going to eliminate this page here, Map of the Village, or maybe we'll leave that page here, but we're also going to embed information about the library over in the Learning Strategies pages. And the same thing with tutoring was here somewhere. Tutoring will go over the learning strategy pages, and the success coaching and advising will get wrapped up in the planning pages. And so we'll sort of contextualize all of that information and put it in a variety of places where it makes more sense to the student right at that moment. But this is the motivation unit. The key assignment in here is that goal-driven motivation. And this is a big page. We've tried to break it down, but it's a big page. We talk about goal-driven motivation, how to download an assignment, how to write an assignment. best practices for writing an assignment. Here is the video instructions for how to submit an assignment in Brightspace, along with your key points for those who don't like to watch the video. And then when you get to the next page, then students are actually asked to upload their assignment. We have, is it facilitated by anyone? It's facilitated by us down here in the Online Learning Center. We have students who write us a paragraph about their academic goals. We have students who write a sentence. We have students who write 3-page essays. It's kind of up to the student. We give them a guideline, 1 to 2 paragraphs, but some students really go to town. And I think it's cathartic for them to kind of get it all out. Here's why I'm coming to college. Here's why I'm spending all this money. Here's why I'm spending all this time. Here's why I want to do this. It helps them, I think, as much as it helps us. And the faculty and student advisors can go in and see what the students have said. Yes. Yeah, it actually is not as part of this course. We actually take and sort of copy and paste what the students have written in here and put it into the students' advising record. And do they? That's a really, really good question. This is our second semester now with introducing this academic goals assignment. I will tell you that the introduction of this assignment has created a task force on our campus about centralizing the location of student academic goals. And that task force consists of success coaches, advisors, faculty, support personnel. And it is aimed at getting better information from the students. So the fact that we have this here is driving other efforts on campus to centralize that student's words and create, as the chair of the committee says, let's create a single source of truth for these students that is updated regularly. So when a student's academic goals change, the student gets to update it regularly. And this is part of the basis of that effort. It's been very enlightening to see what the students want out of our college, what they want out of our courses, and where they think they're going in the future. I guess I didn't answer your question about do they, but it seemed like at the very least, our success coaches and our advisors are paying attention. What else would you like to see from the course? I will say, I can add a little piece of information here. One of the things that happened, I had an announcement that went out last week, and it was an announcement from our learning center, which is our tutoring area, and they had workshops for nurses taking the NCLEX. And I put out that announcement, and they had a rash of calls up there of students asking, was the training really at 10 o'clock at night? And they had to go back and trace, well, where did you see that? Well, they saw that in Brightspace. So we can say for absolute certain that students are paying attention to these push notifications that are coming out of our success course here and our regular announcements. Students are reading these regular announcements here. Lois, can you elaborate on that a little bit? Howard Gardner's research cross purposes with students, families, colleges? Yes.
Yeah, we had a webinar from him, and I forget who else was on it, but he did this research for 5 different colleges, and what the families wanted, what the students wanted, and then what the colleges are offering, and our understanding of each other. And it was really at odds. They want us to get them a job at the end, and we're talking about, academic learning and learning goals. And, so it was very telling. And I think we're all working at this now. And this course is wonderful too. And that updating that, whatever you call it, student success. In Empire, we have degree program planning. And that is that way we have gotten at that in the past. But anyway, he does I don't have a link or anything to that research, but I'm sure if you searched it, you'd find it. And,
Mhm.
you know, Howard Gardner's Howard Gardner. So it's
Mhm.
valid in my book anyway. Thank you.
Right. We did make several places in the course here, and I know this page is one of them where we talk about and we go into it a little bit more deeply in the mini course experience, where we talk about students who are online students who have supportive family home environment versus students who don't, which is a sort of cross purposes to what you're talking about, but related. And we talk about students who have a supported home versus students who don't, and how students who don't have supported home can reach out to us online. And sort of make them aware themselves of what is, you know, if you're hanging out with or living with people who don't value your academic experience, how does that impact all the time that you have to spend on these courses? And we try and keep it as short and simple as possible, but yes, you need to build relationships with people on campus and build relationships with fellow students so that you can be in a supportive environment, even if that supportive environment is only online and your family doesn't see the point. At least someone out there sees the point of what you're doing and can share in your victories. Contextualizing the how-to pieces, yes, that was the big part of what we're trying to do here, is just make the information more relevant by providing it, rather than providing with an alphabetic sort of directory. Here's a directory of our services. Providing it at a time where a student needs it. And so when a student is struggling and a student needs to reach out for help, here's all the places we can reach out for help when they need to find their tribe on campus. Okay. You know, here's your study. I'm trying to remember whose study this was. It might have been Gardner's. Students who succeed need to have one purpose on campus they relate to and one meaningful activity to do each week. So who can you connect with on campus, and just diving them right into our online communities to say, here's how you build up those connections. Yeah, these are great comments. You guys can feel free to unmute yourselves.
Loy, it's Nancy. In the beginning, Lois had asked about the being a credit course, and I know it's not credit. I know they can receive a certificate of completion for the mini course.
You
Is
are
that right?
correct. Yes.
And is there a badge?
Am I? Oh, I'm in admin. I thought I was looking at a student as a student. I'm going to pull this for a second.
Certificates, yeah, and a badge.
Yep. And then I'm going to bring it back.
Yes.
So students who complete the 30-minute orientation get this badge right here, the GCC Online Learner Badge. And all they have to do to get the Online Learning Badge is read through the 30-minute orientation. Students who complete the full mini course experience get this certificate up here. They have to do the things. They have to pass the quiz. They have to submit something in the discussion, and they have to submit an assignment to the folder and get all the way through the content. So the certificate for the mini course experience is a little bit more involved, but again, keep in mind, it's 3 45-minute sessions. Students should be able to complete this by the end of the first week of classes. And so we will have instructors in other credit-bearing classes who will tell the students they can either get extra credit for completing these badges and certificates, or it's part of the course. So particularly some of our FYE courses, the instructors will say, okay, your first assignment in FYE is to complete the success course, and you have to send me a screen cap of your certificate or your badge. And with the 2 levels, it gives a lot of flexibility for instructors. If they are feeling like many of their students are too busy to do a full course, they can give credit for the badge. And if they are, full-time students who are maybe at home and able to do the full experience, or the instructor thinks it's worthwhile to do the whole experience, then they can give credit for the certificate. Do we find any research to support the idea? Christine, you're asking really, really good questions. Did we find any research to support the idea? No, and yes. So there is all of the ongoing research that suggests that contextualizing knowledge makes it easier to retain as a general rule of thumb. So as a general rule of thumb, I had a pretty good idea that we were heading in the right direction with this. As far as has anyone researched specifically mixing up the how-to of a course with the how to be a better student, mashing those together and coming up with results based on that, I'm not aware of any. I can definitely say that our initial outlook on this has been positive. We have feedback from our students. We have a course evaluation in Brightspace that we ask the students to fill out when they have completed the course. The students generally have enjoyed the course. Their quantitative feedback is very, very good. We've asked them to score various sections of the course on how useful they thought the sections were. As a result, we dropped a couple of pages, and the remaining pages are scored very, very high. Students are routinely reporting that they feel better about how to communicate with the college, how to ask questions, how to get support, how to manage their course schedule. Trying to remember some of the other qualitative feedback that we've gotten. Just generally speaking, the students' feedback is very, very, very good. And obviously our initial numbers from IR are supporting that, because they are sticking with the classes. They are more likely to complete and be successful. Does that help, Christine? Lois wants to know, okay. So the question is, can other people who are not GCC students go through this course? And the answer is, as much as I would love for you to be able to do that, I can't because of Brightspace. You would have to be a GCC student to get access to the course. I will say that one of the more interesting decisions to come out of this course, we've made the decision that this particular success course is available for all GCC students. That includes all of our mixed modality students and includes all of our in-person students. They all have access to the course. So I have 4,400 students in this course right now. Actually, I think we're up to 4,800, which is a lot. And my grade book is, I think, 13 pages long. Even when I put it at 200 students at a pop, but it is still manageable as long as we keep on top of our evaluations. And so all of the students at GCC get access to this, and all of the students at GCC, even in person, they can download the Pulse app and they can get our notifications of things like add dates, drop dates, withdrawal dates, things coming up like our events for National Distance Learning Week for students. And so on. Other questions? I have very much enjoyed sharing this with you. I'm glad to see that you liked it. Our students have liked it. It's going through now its second major revision. But overall, I think that our initial numbers we know are successful, and our qualitative feedback is showing us that students enjoy it, they're engaging with it, and that's always a win for us.
That's what matters right there. I think what you just summed it up.
Great.
All right, well, I'm looking in the chat. I'm not seeing any final questions. So I will go ahead and close this out, Loy. I just want to thank you so much for sharing this course with us. It really was, great to see how you approach this. I agree with Christine about the contextualization. I think that it builds engagement and relevance. And so it kind of sparks some ideas, I think, for others who have been participating with us today. So thank you to everyone who joined for your attendance and attention. All of our slides and the recordings for each session this week will be available on our website. I'll put that here in the chat for you. And I just want to also encourage you that National Distance Learning Week is sponsored by USDLA, and they have events around distance learning all week as well. And so you can check out some of their events and participate if you are interested. This concludes our sessions for today, but we will start again tomorrow at 11 a.m. and that session info link should give you all of that information along with registration. All right. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon.